Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we'd like to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakodash.
double honors to our apostles and elders, our great ministers, our teachers who surely do well and worthy of double honors. And salutation to the elect brethren in this work in sincerity and in truth across the four corners of the planet, third risk in their life to do so. Right, so we are the Hebrews Atlantic branch, the branch of Great Millstone here in Trinidad, here to edify and prophesy the downfall of America, Babylon the Great, aka the whole that set upon the beast. That's another week. Alright? So a lot of things happening prophetically. Right? We're going to say our bashing and shy. We have local news. Ela might be in a triple threat state. Prime Minister is a woman, the President is a woman, and the opposition leader is a woman. Right? So you don't know what going on there. You don't say you're going to lift up the skirt upon Babylon. There's a province. Right? But in Babylon the Great itself, we have you saw somebody get the Psalms 10 and 3. The Psalms 10 and verse 3. Yeah. We have Donald J. Trump, the president of Babylon, saying any nation that trading with Iran, right? Tariffs on them. Right?
This book of Psalms chapter 10 and verse 3 says, "For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and bless the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth."
And what?
And bless the covetous.
Who's the covetous? All them nations that he was trading with, that was a confederate with him. When they go into Psalms 82, right? When they go into Obadiah 83, when they go into the book of Obadiah, it speaks about all they that were confederate with thee. Right? Somebody can bring all them precepts. Right? These nations were once at peace with thee, but they have deceived thee. Right? But go ahead.
It says, "The wicked through his pride, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are also grievous. Always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight."
Yeah, the judgments of the Lord are far above out of his sight. So like even right now, the Lord is judging them. Right? Judging America. Right? But you don't see it. One video that we just watched just before the camera came on. Right? A senator was in an interview, and he was saying that he was of the opinion that the groceries had overstocked their shelves, right? Because he was being asked what is going to go on because the shelves are dwindling and the ships are not coming, they're outside, right? When they go into certain the ports are them, they're empty. Yeah. They're empty because of these high tariffs, right? That's why I had him read the Psalms 10 and 3. As for all his enemies, he puffed at them. Right? Bringing legislation, right? Laws, sanctions, right? It's coming on draconian. This is the old devil, the dragon that the Bible speaks of, and he's manifested himself. Somebody have a precept?
Shalom. In Obadiah 1 and verse 6, it says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?"
How are his hidden things sought up? Right? Because before, how Esau used to rule was in secrecy, right? But then the Most High sent forth the prophets and the spirit of prophecy on the land. Because guess what? Not only men of the Lord revealing him, but you have whistleblowers. The apostle will always talk about John Todd. Right? You can go on YouTube and watch John Todd videos, a former Mason, right? Selling out. Right? All these things, well, he ruled in secrecy, he ruled in the darkness. Right? When we were small, we used to watch them cartoons, them Saturday morning cartoons. They had Inspector Gadget, and they always had a council, and they would have the screens and they would dark out. You watch the new Avengers movies in the beginning, right? They would show you that Samuel Jackson with the patch. What do you call him again? His character with the patch.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. So what? Nick Fury would always have a council. He would talk to that council, right? You watch other different shows. They always have a secret council, right? How the hidden things that search out, right? The secret societies, right? They had men like you can watch it on the YouTube right now, on the internet right now, on the shorts, Instagram. They have the thing with Method Man. He was saying back in the 90s, right? He was talking about the Illuminati and them wanted to bring all the RFID microchip, Right? Right.
Says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. That says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
Yeah, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Right? They sit at the table and everybody got their piece of the pie. But everybody was studying you, Esau. Right? That Moab is that next proud nation that's moving after you in the same steam. Right? You know, Moab moving, it's high interest loans to all these different nations. Loans that come with stipulations and conditions. Same thing that they use the IMF, International Monetary Fund. They use IDB, International Development Banks, right? The ways of the bankers, because the elite, either my elites are bankers. And that's how they get the people, through interest, through loans that they can't pay back. And then what, they're indebted to what? Indebted to them. What?
This is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 9 and 11. It says, moreover, they that work in fine flax and they that weave networks shall be confounded. Jumping on to verse 11, it says, surely the princes of Zoan are fools, the counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish.
Ooh, the counsel of Pharaoh become brutish. Yeah.
Zoan was a place in Egypt, and Zoan means place of departure. In that place they want to be right now.
The scripture said that dead body shall lie spiritually because Sodom and Egypt. And when you say the council of Pharaoh, Pharaoh is what, like the king, the ruler of Egypt, right? What is the council of Egypt now? Tariffs on everybody and everything, right? One big broad brush, right?
This is in the easy English. It says the leaders of Zoan are really fools. The best people in Pharaoh's government say that he must do silly things.
and that was basically the video we just watched. Right? The senator said, well, I presume that all well, basically the grocers, they overstock. Hey, have people who never even catch back from the CB19 that shut down. That economically they never really catch back them full footed. You know? Right? Now Trump put these tariffs out there. Right? You know, we give it a heard locally that CARICOM, the regional government, the regional the ex-Prime Minister Bobby Head would have explained what went on, that when they would have sat down in a meeting with Rubio and CARICOM as a whole would have negotiated certain licenses to trade with China. If they didn't trade, economically, the energy sector and everything within the CARICOM region would have failed. So they had to go and secure certain licenses. So those licenses will come with what stipulations as well. We don't know the full extent of it as yet. They will maybe revealed in time to come. Right? They had Trump, as you were saying, they saw something with the Trump party picking up the new Prime Minister.
Yeah. The Minister of Security, National Security, he was given children promise because they were saying she about the same agenda with them about. Woo! Heavy deportation for Asha over here. Right. They was going into that. And also
Someone want no, you do that speak. Psalms chapter 1 verse 1.
Yeah, they was going into, she on the same agenda with them deported, heavy on Asha. So that Jacob trouble, coming on in land and also going into the micro sea hip.
And that's sweet because really and truly, right, in the past regime of this same present government, UNC, they were the ones that recommended RFID microchipping for the children. There are two brothers, Prophet and somebody else, right? I think they had the same mother and different fathers. Two brothers that was killed But during school hours, they were sent to school and they was into they was going wayward, they was going forward, right? And they get caught up and they get killed, right? And the form then and I think he has the same appointment now. Dr. King Tim Gopi Singh, Elamite Tim Gopi Singh, say he ain't gonna worry about that no more, and the time soon to come because the children gonna be microchipped. He said it. Now guess what? That was around 2018, 2017, 2018. Yesterday, I and the brother Howard was looking for that to bring it out in a thing, in a video, a lesson. Right? But guess what? They scrub it out from the internet. They scrub it. They scrub it. I seen all the articles from in the article and the paper that was how to say quoted or published. That article and that paper is the only paper you can't get it back on. You know? I had it bookmarked. When you go on it now, they say that domain is closed.
This same party that do them right now was the same one who passed the Act Section 34 Act 11, which goes into that save the women.
You'll see I sent it back the Obamacare one. I sent it for you to see. Right? Obamacare HR 3200, right? Talk about having a class 2 electronic device for what? Monitoring. Right? Having a class 2 electronic. It goes into if you're being incarcerated, right? And you have to be put on parole, right? They will give it a monitoring. Right now, what you're going to see is a monitoring bracelet or anklet, right? The anklet, right? That was the first time I was really using Trinidad because this same government was the one that brought the first SOE. That was in 2017. That state of emergency, right? They went in and they get all the gang leaders and all in Lavantel and all them places there, and they put that they released certain of them with what that electronic device, that class 2 device, which that class 2 device is what the brother just mentioned in HR Section 34, Act number 11, the electronic monitoring bill. Now, when you go into that bill, the word is worded vaguely. Now, when you go into the law is every word is broken down. Every word is broken down. When you go into the Ministerial Legal Affairs side, if you go into it, they will break down every word, right? What the term means, word or term, what it means. If they say a minor, they're going to tell you a minor is a child between the ages of 1 and 18, right? Because as soon as the clock strikes 12 midnight, they become an adult. According to Eastern society, there's a lie, right? Your body itself makes you adult, you know? The metamorphosizing of your body is what makes you an adult. When you change from metamorph, or to morph is to change, right? To morph, when you change, you know what Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, what they used to do? They used to morph, they used to change from men into what? Fucking creatures, animals, right? When your body changes from being a child into a full woman, you reach the flower, your age is how the scripture describes it. You reach puberty, you have a period, right? And as a boy, what you call it again?
Adam's apple.
Yeah, thorax. Adam's apple. Yeah, you know, it changes up here. Your voice gets deeper, right? You know, you get pubic hairs.
What could happen in 11, 10, by age 12 with men when come to men. The age is 12, as you study in the gospel when Yahushua turned 12 and he went to the Passover. He can attend the Passover again, now turn the age of 12 in time of the spring, that when he turned a man. But still he had to be subject unto them.
We'll talk about the physical changes more fit.
I say a man could get a boy could get at 10. Yeah, but he's still not a man. You can get some heavy and get the apple thing, but can't still attend the Passover, but he's seen which a man says that.
Right? Yeah.
Psalms 1:1.
Alright? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 1, verse 1. It says here, Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful.
Right, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor the way of the ungodly. There is Rasha, which is the same word for wicked in Job 9:24. Right? And what is that counsel? That wicked counsel right now is that they ultimately is that they want to what? Microchip everybody. Right? They want to microchip everybody. This present regime in Trinidad, they're not against that. The Babuan Gita ain't against it. They're not against it. Right? These heathen, they're all about the money. They're all about the money, whatever form it come in. Right? That's why they have war across in the land. They're fighting for fucking water in India. Right? Indians, Pakistani, and some nation in between. Because the Pakistani and them like they in control of the river higher up. Right? And the river passing through some, it's like China. I think it's China, the river passing through. And India getting the water lower down. So it's like the Pakistanis outbid India with the deal for them to block off the fucking water from coming downstream for India. And I don't know them Indians do this bait shit. Through the ashes of the dead, everything in that fucking river. Sacrifice unto the idols, everything into that river. Right? Most I fucking up the land. Or if somebody can get that from too, why do the heathen rage and imagine that vain thing they saw it sounds?
This is Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. It says here.
Because watch it. Watch the same thing. What's that? What's that with Jake?
Yeah.
You what?
He catching Jones and I know so funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure, like I don't
As you
right enough.
the river you're speaking about, they call it the Indus River. It says it flows through China. It says it originates in the Tibetan Plateau. India, it flows through the Ladakh region of Jammu and Kashmir. And Pakistan, it flows through the majority of its course in Pakistan.
Right. So, Jim, I ain't give it the news on it?
No.
Okay, look, you can switch it up. Go. Right, go. Somebody just reading these Psalms too?
Yeah, come. This is the book of Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. It says here, Why do the heathens rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Yeah, because the heathen think that they're going to rule next. Right? During the campaign, because basically how it set up, just like how you're going to have Republicans, Democrats, Liberals, and Conservatives, right? It also set up via colors, red and yellow, right? And also via race, Elam and Jake, right? And now coming out of slavery, the indentured slaves being the Elamites and the slaves being Jake. Jake not having money, but the indentured slaves having money, right? Because they were paid. They were paid. But our foreparents was what? Was whipped to work the land. Right? So when slavery ended and they were supposed to be given what? 40 acres and a mule, right? They had no money to do anything else after that. Right? They had land and had no money. So what happened? Elam buy all the land and leave Jake with nothing. Jake and them just coming together and building up the ghettos. Right? So, you know, he saw work on that. It's a psyop. It has always been a psyop. Strong nigga against weak nigga. Blacker nigga than the lighter skin nigga. Right? It's always a psyop. Separation. Old against the young. How they say it in the American song, divide and rule is their only plan. Their only plan. Yeah. Right? So it's a divide and conquer. Right? So you had many of the councillor or cabinet of the present government, UNC, plenty of the people left claiming, and some of them was Elamites or looked like Elamites. They could have been Jake in the spirit. They say what? Claiming too much racism. So we know that the heart of the matter is racism. At the heart of the matter, these fuckers don't like niggas. As they would say, they don't like niggas. They don't like niggers. But how they do it in a more discreet way. They show discretion when they rule, they share. It might be disproportionate, but they will share. But this present, that past participle, Bobby Head, the outgoing Egyptian, he didn't care nothing about his own people. Right? He went and secured everything for himself. He was a cool ruler. Right? So now he has to stay where he's at, because the whole nation hates him. Right? He's gonna stay where he's at, and the curses of Yahweh are gonna fall on him. That's right. Thus say the Lord. That's right.
When we talk about the child and thing with the act.
Yeah, what?
These are some information on the bill that was passed in we country concerning the RFID microchip. But we're now talking about something that the law was, the act was breaking out. So this second section, 10th Parliament, Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Act number 11 of 2012. It says an act to make provision for the implementation of a system for electronic monitoring in Trinidad and Tobago and for related matters. Whereas it is enacted by Section 13(1) of the Constitution that the Act of Parliament to which that section applies may expressly declare that it shall have effect even though inconsistent with Section 4 or 5 of the Constitution, and if any act does so declare, it shall have effect accordingly. So I want to go to the point where it says, I want to read from in this act, right? It says parliamentary. It says, in this act, child means an individual, as we were now talking about, below the age of 18 years who is charged with or convicted by a court for an offense. Competent authority includes a statutory board or tribunal or other authority appointed under any written law for the purpose of this act. Court means or judge, jumping down, it says electronic monitoring device or device includes a device which operates on a global positioning system or
a GPS.
Can.
So what? The micro see hit, right? When they go into it, it's going to be able to be globally tracked. Right? They're going to be able to be tracked globally. Right? That's what GPS means, global positioning system. Go ahead.
So it's Administration of Justice Electronic Monitoring. It says electronic monitoring device or device includes a device which operates on a global positioning system or radio frequency.
Or what?
Or radio frequency.
RFID microchip. Go ahead.
It says persons means an individual who is charged with or convicted by a court for an offense. Public official means a minister or permanent secretary. Regulations mean regulations made by the ministry under Section 25. I want to jump down a little bit to this point here. 18. Right.
Now this is legislation put in into a device that is used for justice being served on a person on probation. Right? Who is released on probation. It's in the law. But it's a precursor to what is going to come globally or worldwide. Right? Because it's not going to be for overall justice, but yes, it's going to be for overall justice. Like, for example, in China, they have something already established, a social credit score. So, on the, which in a social credit score, right? If you have a bad social credit score, what they do? They withhold your funds, your dust, your money, right? Your bread. They withhold it, right? You haven't been good. So it's a form of punishment, right? But how Esau does this thing, he does it by gradualism, right? In the States, they have something called a universal basic income. UBI, universal basic income, right? Now guess what? That's a standard income for all levels. In the future, they're not going to have unions. They're not going to have unions. You can't go and negotiate wage and terms over a period of time. What the elites would like to have happen in the future they would like to have a world where it's all robotic. It's all AI, animatronic. That's why you see the increase in what? In the building of cybernetic type of devices, right? Exosuit, skeletons, and things. It's just to get the people accustomed to what is going to happen. You're going to be working on robots. You're watching movie Elysium. When it's Matt Damon, his name was? I think it's Matt Damon, his name was, right? When them against the radiation, right? The robot hit him, so pop. It was a robot police. It was robot policing. Robots were policing the humans. While the elite was living out there in Elysium, but Elysium means paradise. That space city, that space retreat, which the scriptures talk about. Go down, Bill. Somebody can bring it out. Go down, Bill, like this again. This is the time that we're living in, right? Somebody line up Malachi chapter 1 for me. Malachi chapter 1, we're going to start at verse 1. We're going to go into it because what's happening is that this devil, what the scripture say? Let no man deceive you before the coming of our Lord. This man of sin has to be revealed. And he's been revealed. Go ahead.
This page is 18 pages, but this is what I want to do with the device.
Don't read it in pages.
Nah, this one. Let's read it. Please forward. It says, in this section, electronic monitoring means the use of electronic or telecommunication system to assist in the supervision of individuals.
So you see, this is what makes this law relevant to the doctrine. Right? Hey, y'all are the devils and y'all going down. Right?
Yeah.
You know my moments.
They run.
They're right on there. Now, when it comes to Shoemaker Road, the church and the Latter-day Saints, that's where they are.
Oh.
That's where they are. That was the devils of the Bible speaks of. Coming here and calling us the accursed people because our skin black. Damn devils. Go ahead. Sir, I didn't finish.
Me? Wait, we were saying something.
Go ahead. Bring it back.
Yeah. Oh, right. It says, in this section, electronic monitoring means the use of electronic or telecommunication system to assist in the supervision of an individual.
To assist in the supervision of an individual. So they tried it. You see, he saw test stuff. Right? The scripture said they accomplished a diligent search. What you saw do it first. They tested on what your household pets. Your dogs, your cat. Hey, even if I have acquaintances that have horses. And what they do, their horses have GPS chips in them. They have microchips in them. So that if somebody steals their horses or the horses run away, they can track their horses. Right?
And that's similar to what he saw for the people. Boy,
or cattle. Yeah. How you get that knowledge? In the Hebrew. In the Hebrew, Nate.
Is what I want. And verse 3 says, the pride of thine heart that deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, then shall I bring thee down, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
I don't know if it was to call that Instagram flick, if it was an omen yesterday, where them ball eagles was fighting and both of them end up on the ground, on the back. Right? Two ball eagles yesterday, they said they was fighting. They didn't show that in the video. They showed the video, the two of them on the back, side by side.
I don't want to time back. Nah, they clamp their foot together.
Yeah, that's what they meet in the sky.
Right, but now them ones two male. And they flip and they fall and they remain so in the tree, hook up in the tree. Wow. And that was like a woman as well.
That bitter hatred.
It even had one where a ball eagle was eaten from the garbage.
Yeah.
It's so tough. This Malachi chapter 1 verse 1. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved. Alright.
Before you read.
Okay, Amos chapter 9 and verse 2. Though they dig into hell, then shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Verse 3, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them.
Yeah, you say a mountain, you know where? Have a mountain and a bunker. NORAD, look up NORAD. You can look up NORAD on Grok. Ask Grok, what is NORAD?
This phone here?
But I mean, if you are Gemini, you can use Gemini too.
N-O-A-R-E.
G-R-O-K. G-R-O-K. Right? NORAD. I want them to define NORAD. I remember as much as I remember. So sometimes
Okay.
Right. It says, the Gemini reading from it. NORAD stands for the North American Aerospace Defense Command. It is a bi-national military organization formed
which
by
means two nations. Right? So you see they get towards them too. Combine means two.
formed by the United States and Canada in 1958.
And now the United States with war with Canada. So you see how this parade works? Reason being, Canada reported, I think today was the news headlines, either today, early today or late this evening, that they have an outbreak of measles. Why is that? When the scriptures talk about this man, this devil, the scriptures say all his ways are grievous. We've got to talk about that. He brought it out. And the book of Habakkuk, they say what? He's as death and he's as hell. You think that all of a sudden there's where measles come from? Where did measles come from? You have the CDC across in America, which we know that they are the Center for Disease Control. You know, the movies will show you that they control what is being put out there. Right?
And whenever, every time they have a talk, like a conference and they talk, and they always talk about a second pandemic. A second pandemic.
Actually, within researching for that thing with Tim Gopi saying, the former Minister of Health, saying that the children will be microchipped. I came back across the article where Jack Warner, remember when Jack Warner had his party ILP?
Yeah.
That was how much years ago, around the same 2017 region, 17, 18 region, where he was saying, you all need to prepare yourself for biochemical warfare. Biochemical warfare is disease warfare. That's what they did to the natives with the pox in the blanket. Right? Prior to coming to camp, I was talking to somebody and they were saying they're feeling all tired and weary, they don't know what it is, they don't know what it is. As I say, it's not unique to you, it's plenty of people complaining the same thing. But one thing, I witnessed, the brother witnessed, hey, these people be fucking spraying 3, 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning. Right? The plane doesn't be high no more.
Low.
The plane flying low. And they're finding some way now to keep that plane from making real fucking noise.
Yeah.
Because the plane don't make no sort of noise no more. And they're flying low. I remember sitting on my car. As I back in the garage, I sit on the car and seeing this fucking thing coming. And I was able to zoom in so much that I could see coming out, the spraying, I could see bellowing out, spraying out of the jets. I took a video of it, spraying out of the jets coming. It was scary to see. Because there's something demonic. You know, like, I don't know if you see, you remember some years ago, some people get burned, I think it was in Maraval. Some people get burned to death, a woman and some children.
They get locked in.
And they show you that when it was going back, the smoke, it had like a demon in the smoke.
I did children alone.
Children alone.
Yeah.
Right?
That team of that sort.
Right. And then I saw a next video recently where it had some fire again. I had like the smoke, one type of black. I had a black of smoke come up in between, boy. You understand? When you see them chemtrails spraying out of them jets, out of the back of that plane, it is a demonic, it have an energy behind it, and it is a demonic energy.
Yeah, that's my company on Google.
What?
That's demon what you saw. We did. And pictures
I saw it, but so much stories now.
Yeah.
My brain is working.
Yeah. Serious one.
Because I saw one recently with some set of people dying again in a fire and had a black smoke. Like the smoke was black, but it had a black like this. Even though the smoke black, it had a smoke that looked like a black soot. It looked like soot. It looked thicker and together, and it had a pattern going on.
It's Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And they went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword.
Great sword. That's a sword.
And that was the blessing, and even that we use the weapons too. These plagues and things that these diseases that he created and set it out. There is peace taken from here.
Yeah. That's for him to get his will. For him, there's somebody get a Habakkuk, he increases his desire, and he is as death and is as hell. You don't move from Nora, the other finish don't Nora.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse from 4. It says, behold, the soul which is lifted up is not upright in it, but the just shall live by his faith. Yet also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all peoples.
Yeah, he transgressed by wine. That's his philosophies. Right? So you have Trump wanted to what? Rename the Gaza Strip what? He wanted to rename and claim over the Gaza Strip that Israel just bombed out. But you see what happened to Israel yesterday and the day before? Sandstorms. Right? They had sandstorms and they had I think it was a firestorm too. Right? In the land of Israel. Right? It reminds me of the scripture in Leviticus 18:26. What? That the earth not spew you out like it spew out the inhabitants before. Right? The earth spewed them out. It had a big sandstorm. Right? Go ahead with Noah. Yeah, so it's not a coincidence that Canada, because what Canada did, Canada say here we see, if we want to increase the tariffs, right? Remember Canada was one of the first nations to back at Trump when he talk about that tariff talk. Right? Anybody that traded with China, tariff. And they said, hey, we're not gonna send our electricity your way. Because they have that big hydroelectric dam up there from Niagara Falls and so on and so forth up there.
Yeah.
Right? They provide America with electricity. They say we're not gonna send our electricity. Right? And they start to play hardball. All of a sudden now measles. Come on. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy fact. Because Esau don't change his ways. Once it's working, they use it 144. They don't change it. But what the scripture said that Esau does, he said, none seeth me. He said, who seeth me? Right? But the prophets of the Lord see it. All these nations here. What nations call it? They call it, the nations in the east call it a fork-tongued devil. What?
There's Psalm chapter 36. So that's 4 for the precept. There's the book of Psalms 36. Psalms 36 and verse 4. It says he devised mischief upon his bed. He set it himself in a way that is not good. He abhorred not evil.
He abhorred not evil. I think it's the book of Haggai. Haggai 1 and 2. Before morning is light.
Like
Micah. Yeah. He devised mischief. Mischief.
Micah 2 and verse 1, warn to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds.
Go ahead.
When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
refer back to the video of the interview with Alex Jones and Aaron Rousseau. What you tell them? He said, well, why would you want to chip the people? He said, well, you care about the people. What you care about them so? You understand? That's what Nick Rockefeller was telling Aaron Rousseau. Right? They have so much money, they have nothing to do, but what they want to do, they want to have total control.
God complex.
They'll have that God complex, right? Which is they say what about in the book of Ezekiel 28. Right? In the book of Thessalonians chapter 2, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Right? He sits in the seat of God as though he is God. Right? And in Ezekiel, right? That man has sinned and set up condition. Man had a God complex. Right?
I won't feel it. It's Ezekiel 35 and verse 10 says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it.
Who's the two? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, or the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. They want to possess us. And the ultimate way of having that possession is to put your brand on it, your stamp, your badge of ownership. Because that's what the word Karax means.
Trench.
Yeah. What?
It says, continuing, it says, whereas the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai was there. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will even do according to mine anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee.
That's what the Lord say. He say what? What is it that he should keep the betters of wrath fitted for destruction to make his power known? He's going to make himself known amongst all these nations. Right? That this man here is a man of sin. Right? We are ready. We have Malachi 1. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just jump to verse 4.
4. Yeah. This is the book of Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. It says here, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever.
Yeah, that's it. They came from the east, they built up the west, right? They build their cities, they build it just like how they build the key. They used to deal with the rocks back there in Petra, Mount Seir, right? The same type of architecture from Rome, from Greece. Same thing in America. Watch Washington, D.C. Watch the Capitol building. Watch the architecture, the skyscrapers, the stonework, the mason work. Right? It's the same people. That's how you're knowing them by the work. The spirit subject to each other.
And just like how the spirit subject to us to come to prophesy again. They come up trying to do the same thing because back then, Ptolemy and all that were Edomites. Trying to bring that mark upon them. That's like what the big did back then. That mark of Dionysus. Right? That branding. Ptolemy tried to do that. He did it. He did it. That he left among them who take that like a man. And the same thing will happen this time. That's why people always say history repeating itself. It's nothing new. It's just same spirit come back and do the same thing. And we falling a lot doing the same thing. They're falling a lot trying to get their agenda. But the Lord said they would not accomplish their agenda. Read them Nahum 1 and 9.
Go back to the NORAD from Babakisha.
We took this up here.
Book of Nahum chapter 1 and verse 9. What do you image against? Imagine against the Lord Hashem Yahushai will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time.
Right, what was our affliction? When we build their cities for them. Right? We build them as slaves. Right? We build their cities with whips on our backs. Right? We build their cities not for wages, but for as free labor. That's how their cities was built. Reuben and Gad was the ones who was what climbing the scaffolding, building the skyscrapers for them. Right? Just like how we built Pharaoh treasure cities, we built Esau cities. As slaves, America was great. According to Trump, it was great. Really and truly when Jacob was a slave. When Theodore Roosevelt had what? The Northern Kingdom on one side and the Southern Kingdom on the next. Right? And Esau on that horse. Yeah.
You see this as an era proceeded from the ruler.
Woo!
That was Solomon saying. Because he said, now that can't be.
No, but the scripture also says, surely the turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter clay. Right? The ruler being Yahweh. Right? The potter being Yahweh. Right? It's not an error, but what? Jacob had to learn wickedness before we learn righteousness in order to be what? Equitable judges. When they go into the word just, it goes into Tazadak. Right? Sadak. Right? Tazadak. Right? Which is what? Justice, righteous, right? Equity. Equity. You do good, you receive good. You do bad, you receive bad. Right? That's justice. That the Lord his ways are equal. He don't give you what he say. The Lord is not unrighteous to forget your labors of love. Right? So this work is going to be repaid with what? Righteousness, with justice. Right? You're going to inherit a kingdom with Yahweh. Shai say what? So Paul say in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, he said, we be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai in his kingdom. Romans 8. Joint.
So like in Revelation 22:12 said, behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be. Some of the reward. It scripture also says in Revelation, they that die in the Lord, their works will follow them. So they're going to be rewarded as well.
Everybody finish?
There's Nahum 3:1. It says, woe to the bloody city. It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. And that, as the brother was now talking about, that's what America was great. America was great when Jakes was in heavy captivity. The scripture say, woe to the bloody city, destruction to the bloody city. And this is what they're trying to do, to pull it back to make it great again. Puffing at all the enemies, doing things that they think that would make it go ever great. But no, right now the nations are mad. And the prophets on the scene speaking, and the words being fulfilled. Because they go and hate the war. They go and hate the war. Thus says Yahweh Hashem. How do you think the brother didn't know, right?
Yeah.
Go back to NORAD.
Yeah, back in the NORAD, it says NORAD's primary missions are aerospace warning, detecting, validating, and warning of any attack against North America by aircraft, missile, or space vehicles.
Where's NORAD? See if you can find it. Where's NORAD?
NORAD is headquartered at Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado, USA. Its primary operations include the NORAD and U.S. NORTHCOM Command Center are located within Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Station.
Within where?
Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Station.
See if you have anything more on that Cheyenne Mountain. Because basically guys, he's going in his safe place. He going in his safe zone. He accustomed being in the caves. He accustomed being in the mountain. Right? That's why they should say, you know, when the clefts of the rocks and the holes. But dance will like bring you down. So you can get in Isaiah 2 too. Isaiah 2. Now that's good. I think Isaiah 2 concerning Jacob.
Isaiah chapter 2 verse 10. It says here, enter into the rock and hide ye in the dust. That the one you wanted?
Read.
And hide ye.
Ultimately the Lord, the angels, because the angels They are known as also the reapers. Nobody want to get away in that time because I'll quote to the Revelation 21 and 12. 22 and 12. Right? He come in 11 and 12. He come in quickly and his reward is with him. So right now, tell every man that he has done good or evil. Right? So hey, a man like Rick Ross. Rick Ross boasts about having a bunker. He's a J. Right? He's a J. He boasts about having a bunker. Why have a bunker as a J? Why invest your money in going underground? Right? That's the first question. Why invest your money in going underground? If all they're about is bling bling and show off. Right? So much so that they have to show off that they're going underground and what they have underground. You see, all these men have plans. They are set up in the psyop against Jacob and our people. Right? Now the Lord had them telling on themselves, the old tongues are telling themselves, but why? Because war is coming. The third war is coming. As of the nuclear type. And they're going to try to hide from the judgment. Yeah?
Habakkuk 2 and 9. Warn to him that coveteth an evil covetousness in his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Trying to hide.
Yeah. You go back to the Isaiah.
Yeah, God. Back in Isaiah 2 and 10, it says here, enter into the rock and hide thee in the dust for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty. The lofty looks of men shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day.
Right. So who's the haughty man? These nations, Esau, they haughty. And Jacob basically poor. It's only Jacob who in league with Esau and Edom, like Ross, Jay-Z. They may have chances to go in the ark.
Yeah, if I may say, a guy who worked in the airport was talking about some jets that America land and some helicopters, and he said it's not like the Black Hawk and them. He said these helicopters are red silent. So our next jig now, right in Trinidad, that land is like yesterday or something.
They had one video with them, in Cocorit. They came to touch them in Cocorit in Westmoreland. Yeah. One video.
That's the one more jump at the embassy.
I don't know.
Yeah, right over the like if we go to Marava.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it come over from St. James, then come over Marava to do wrong about it.
They're not Cocorit is down by Westmoreland.
Now, I see that one was over there, like literally US and this thing.
And so you were saying that the jets are real silent. So our next man saying now, so they start to talk about if Venezuela and we deal with if America go to touch Venezuela, then Russia will come in and we go end up in the middle of the crossfire.
Yep.
So he was saying, well, Trinidadians better look to go and save the money and build bunker.
But the ship, they said it will read to and fro. So that makes sense.
But
hey. Last week Friday they opened the road to go up Grandy.
Yeah.
That road they never have to the end of the year. That road go on the road. Yeah. You see the side of the road? Yeah. So what technology them have to build any proper fucking bunker?
Yeah, even if they build a bunker and Lord see I'm in hit Trinidad, we hit Venezuela close. Anyway it hit it, go and rock 2 and 4 dimension. Yeah. That going to mean water going to come high. Tsunami going to come. So what going to happen to them bunkers? The bunkers going to be underwater.
Yeah, going to flood out.
Well, that was the joke. The joke was them tell themselves
they say
have any defense.
The only way out is up.
And all kind of defense they're going to, except in God. Up to now they ain't talking about God as yet now. But God, let me turn to God and see what the man up above had to, how we can help. We know them starting to go to man, trusting the government, trusting technology, trusting all kind of things. And that is where the prophecy, you know.
And when the Lord say, when he comes, is there going to be any faith on the earth?
I have precept to add to task about the 2 precepts. This Isaiah.
Isaiah 9 and 13. For the people turn not unto him that smited them, neither do they seek the Lord of hosts. Therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel head and tail, branch and rush in one day. The ancient and the honorable, he's the head, and the prophet that teacheth lies, he is the tail. Right? None of them turn to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All of them refuse the counsel of the Lord's mouth. Prophets. Right? Like I was doing a video there with Howard yesterday, and I was like, Howard, you realize like the masses of people that was into that whole voting thing, right? Versus us, the prophets. It just literally it's like a visual, it's a mental visual of Isaiah 1 and 8, right? It shows like a cottage in a field of cucumbers, a vineyard of cucumbers. We besieged. And that cottage, that high tower, you understand? They don't understand that high tower, that watchtower, being a watchtower over the nation, right? Being a watchtower, we now become a prey. He that what? He that serve the Lord making himself a prey there. He didn't see that departed from iniquity, evil. Making himself a prey. So now we hide and we see. Because just how we're going to be seen, you know. You see them want to turn on us. When I say heathen, right? Our own people. They're going to turn on us.
Think about it when the light shine and sex is attacking, you don't understand that the heat, the joint, the heat, the attack, the CBs and jets and things. Going to be busy light, which
or there's cockroaches and things that run from it.
Yeah, cockroach run. But the light, the scripture says in John 1, the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehends it.
That's what I was going for. That is it. You don't understand the light. But this light is not a black light. Okay, Job 18. And I think it was 5, yeah? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. This is not the black light. This is a white light. Right?
Job 18 and verse 5, it says here, yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out.
Right, which that light represents knowledge. You should have said the knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom. Right? You think it wise to destroy the same planet you're living on? To flood the air with heavy metals and chemicals? To pollute the waters and the seas? Right? To put chemicals into the plants which are supposed to give it nutrition? You think that's wise? That's not wisdom. To bring 13 sexes? 13 sexual orientations or more? Ask Brooke or Gemini, ask how much sexual orientations are there in America. Right? You ship there in the book of Genesis, which is the headings, Bar Afiat, right? They say what?
Created male and
female, created he them. Male and female created he them. Two. Is that a male or you're female? If you're a male and you're acting as a female, right? They call that effeminate or homosexual, right? And the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, is going to what? He's going to destroy them. Right? That's an abomination. Why?
They have a coastline, right? A co-worker who live on the coastline. If anybody know that when you see it have a time of the month, when you see the purge itself,
yeah.
And that going on, that is also supposed to be for like a week period, just like a woman ending up on the month. Yeah. It purge out itself on the water. He said that going on for the longest while, 2-3 weeks, the sea remaining dirty.
Yeah, right. Well, it's sarcasm. Because why? Why? You don't have the natural predators. Sorry, the natural scavengers. Crab, shrimps, lobster, every fucking thing.
What is called a little black one?
Praco, oyster, everything they eat. These people, they're filthy. These people were the worst than the heathen. No, the heathen, you know why Moab and them had to eat them shit? Because when they go back into the law, right? The law tell them how to farm the land 6 years, and only 7 years they leave it and they go to the next place and they farm. They call that nomadic farming, right? Well, at the end of it, we say, so that the earth will yield forth her fruit, or yield forth her increase. So the earth will naturally, whatever is there for the year will decompose, right? And bring back the nutrients back into the earth. So it's a cycle. But when Esau doing it for constant to feed your cravings, you where fruit and different trees, but the scriptures talk about the tree where somebody gets in Genesis Bible question. For meat. I only one I say for meat.
Like 129. Genesis 129.
Bible question.
Go ahead, you want to read it from here?
Yeah.
Read it.
Genesis 1 and verse 29. And Yahweh said, Behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed to you, which shall be for meat.
It shall be for meat. So initially, what you would have been doing, eating of the fruit and the tree. Esau will tell you, no, you can't eat fruit every day. All kind of everything, science shows or study shows and this bullshit. Just read the scriptures. You won't die, you won't get too much sugar because the natural sugars from fructose have one valency shell. There's less energy to break down the sugars in the fruit to eat. But when you eat high fructose corn syrup, because most of these things, you think you buy a honey barbecue, right? It's high fructose corn syrup. There's no honey, it's high fructose corn syrup. Something processed and manufactured, right?
And the ancient telling you don't use so much lime, it will kill your sperm out.
No kind of madness.
Mustard and all that.
Yeah, they said, I grew up knowing it. As only when I come into the church, I say, but what shit is that? Even the scriptures talk about mustard seed. So that means you would have been eating mustard. Right? You can't eat mustard. Mustard will kill your sperm count and all this kind of thing. It's like, what? But when you check this, I never do it, but most likely mustard alkaline. Right? Because when you do this study, alkaline body, or basically a balanced body, or a more alkaline body is better than healthier than an acidic body. What make your body acidic? Meat and meat and sugar.
Well, as I was talking about the corn syrup, I watched a big nice bottle of Welch's. It have a flavor, some new flavor they bring out. And it looking healthy. When you shake it up, it looking like it a pulp, but when you watch the ingredients, corn syrup, this acid, that acid, I say, but this is healthy. I sit back on and say, but wickedness.
Sometimes, you see, like, I understand when you get out, that the body does get out this high for sugar, but sometimes I just use water, coconut water. Water, coconut, I watch that. Sometimes you water and all, I have to get lime or lemon to squeeze it. Or sometimes I just cut the slices and put the whole thing down in the bottle. Now, so I cut the rind and all good. You know? You saw fucking contaminated thing because the body diverted from the law. I always keep saying, what has thou to do with my law? To declare my statute, because they have the book. They have the book. They have the manual on how to run the planet, and what they do. They're doing something exceptional. They divert from the ways. Go ahead.
We have a little piece in the Job 18 and 5 here again. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine.
Yeah, the spark of his fire not shining. Right? Yeah, they make Trump come in like he's like he's some fucking messiah. There's only two sexes. Stop all this craziness. You see all the laws coming out now. We're banning male trannies from going into female toilets. You have laws in different states coming out. Right? Guess what? All I say because we knew that from the beginning. In the beginning, made he male and female, made he them. Right? He gave us what? The tree. But after the flood is when what? We had to eat the animals. I hear a man make an excavation in work was last week. I think they had a cook. Right? What you call potluck in America. One man was mocking that the cook was provisions and pork. And next man said, if God didn't want, I like to mock, like I can hear the man voice. If God didn't want pork, he would have never put it on the ark. I just watch what he said, and I just like, because they know who I am, and he said right next to me. I was like,
Yeah, I mean taking no bait.
Yeah.
That's no good reason. Very feeble. Them pigs went in two in pairs, but they clean and they go into sevens.
Yeah.
Sevens because it had also eat and sacrifices.
Also, clean up. What do you think the animals was doing? They're showing, you know, a pig will eat any fucking thing.
Yeah.
That was the garbage disposal on
Yeah, the vacuum for you.
Yeah,
Like eating dead carcass around.
yeah. Somebody got arrested the other day for some pigs that was they was killing people in sea lots and the pig eating it.
All these skull and thing going. Yeah. Blazing that. I have pushed up.
I remember the first time I went to St. Croix. When I went to St. Croix, we had a fucking pig that was drinking beer. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember because they had the cans there. I can't remember if you said the can. I was like, what? You just get the beer. You didn't have to open the beer, but the beer was in a can. You had the pig can, the beer.
Pig and no pause, like all that fucking.
They have a gland, they have a nasty fucking gland. Cut that gland. You see, you know, like, you show that on the internet. All the mucus, all the pus, everything that's come out.
So all that you get in your body.
Yeah. But they love swine.
Yeah, they love that.
With Boozy, you remember little Boozy? Boozy badass?
He lose his foot?
See what we're with them now? Remember some years ago you were saying, man, if God telling me don't eat the pork, I eating the pork.
Please, getting cold and all that hygiene.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah. He eating swine, he eating pork. He telling me about pork. God, I don't understand. I eating pork.
What we want him right now?
So,
I think he lose a foot.
I look at him.
And one, he was the same one who come out and say he needs to change his life because he feel he are deteriorating.
Yeah,
see?
Yeah.
There's a couple of them too. It's Boosie Badass. It had an next one too. It had an next rapper, but
someone of them said that.
yes, he was. It had an next one too. But a lot of them was being real disrespectful to the Lord. But you know, we will live to see the judgment. But I don't want
This is Job 21 and verse 15. I read from 14. It says, therefore they say unto God, depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we pray unto him?
That's who? Job 19?
Job 21.
Right, so that's Esau speaking there. That's not Jacob speaking there. That's Esau speaking there. Because when you go into there's you see they talk about watching when so look high up.
Job the 7th is the title.
Right, you see how do the wicked live?
Spend the days in the world.
Yeah.
And then move on to go down to grave.
Yeah. So it's an observation on the wicked.
Yeah.
Right, which is Esau and Edom. Right? It's an observation on the wicked. But there are 2/3
yeah,
in
verse
America.
7 it says, wherefore do the wicked live?
Uh-huh.
It says, verse 7 it says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. And like thy sons, they leave their wealth, you know, unto the generation. The ship just saying Psalm 17, who leave the wealth to the babes. So that's how the wicked live. Because scripture says when Isaac was given the blessing and Esau cried out, he said, have not thou one blessing for me, O father? And he said, thy dwelling. You need to say, you have a little play here for a time being, but your time is at hand. Because Esau is the end of the world. This age, this eon, this time period is coming to an end. So you get a play to dwell on the earth and the fatness of the Jew. That is the blessing that Isaac gave you. But he just let you know it rightfully. Jacob is the man, and Jacob is the one who blessed. So then the scripture going into here where he's talking about how the wicked live. Leaving the substance unto the babes coming back until the time appointed for the ultimate fall, which we are right now.
Our scripture that say that they're going to be as though he was not.
Psalm 37.
Bring it out. Right, because Queen is a bitch. She gonna come back and she gonna come back. When she come back, she not gonna come back into Uphill and she not gonna come back into the royal family. Right? They won't go consider themselves royals no more. She gonna come back into that accursed family. The people are my curse. right? Because the sword coming down and I do me, the people of Michael, so I do me as who? He saw and eat up. When they go into the world, right? When they come back, they're not going to come back into that witches. But let's break down how do wicked live. They will have incest, right? In order to keep it in the family, to keep the wealth, what they call generational wealth, right? They keep that generational wealth started back then from what slavery. That's what they call old money. Yeah, Jay-Z sing about old money, but Jay-Z think that he have money. He have no money. What the rich Russian oligarch, when Jay-Z got he get a third portion in one of the I think it was a baseball club, and he said the rapper was there. He said, "Hey, you a fucking welfare case, boy. You own what? You own what? You own nothing. You Russian talk up, nigga, know your place, right? Know your place. Put him in his place. So imagine that." Somebody outside of the US, either might Russia, own a franchise at the bread and circus in America. It's simple, but it's big. It's simple. It's big for Jake. For Jake to understand how the world really works. Jake, you know, I will listen to the fucking the Benchside University in work. I mean, all the philosophers would sit down and talk. It's like work have his own Mars Hill. And they're breaking it down. Yes, and yes, and this and no. Watch this movie and just like how we watch Sinners or the Clone Tyrone, and in the truth on the right hand side we will analyze it with the truth. They will analyze it with the world. And their perspective is boxed in. Because they don't know the whole picture, they don't know that they have a fucking enemy. Right? One Jake, when we used to preach man, come and ask he said, I thought he was a score. He was going to score first. Right? Then we talked to a tall one, a tall, slim, dark one. Right? He used to be upstairs by the club when we used to preach where the punch man get killed. And I thought he was asking about the white man. And I said, he asked what? He said, tell me about the white man. I said, the white man is my enemy. Going back to the birth of Esau and Jacob. And when I gave him a little brief thing, I thought he was going to score for him. He said, boy, I always want to know how the white man rule everything, boy. How he has so much power that he can come from wherever he come from. And it's like he can do whatever he wants. You understand? So he didn't come score for it. He really said he wanted to know that, to understand. And I was able now to put it in our next gear and go a little deeper, but not too deep.
There's Psalms 37.
He doesn't want to drown. So yes, we have knowledge, but how we bring it across too. You let people, it's like you're fishing. When they cast the line, you never know, fishermen and crew. They cast the line, they fish by the bait, you might pull the line, so it hook in the jaw, and you let him run. Then they give him a fight. Let him run. So what, you tie all the fish. And when the fish tired now, you reel him in. Right? It works.
Yeah. There's Psalms 37 and verse 35. It says, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not.
Lo, he was not. Right, he was not. So what? He spread himself. You should say he's sitting upon the many waters. Right? Green bay tree is what? Prosperity. But guess what? That prosperity coming down. Revelation 18 talk about the nation standing from afar off, saying, talk about the merchant city going down. It's like, well, who gonna buy all merchandise? Or where's? Somebody can get a Revelation 18. Yeah, you are.
It says, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not.
Lo, he was not. Go ahead.
Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found.
He could not be found. So when they come back, when Esau come back in the reincarnation, it's a real fucking rude awakening. You see that? I forget Queen Elizabeth's husband's name.
King Charles.
Charles was his name? Yeah. You sure? Nah, no. You sure he wasn't Philip? Because he was Charles is his son. Philip is he.
King Charles.
It's Charles who know. Yeah. Right, so that was Philip. Right? He was a fucking, he was like nearly 100, if not 100. Yeah. He didn't care, no. He was cussing, no. He didn't care. You have no restriction. You have all the money in the world. You part of the elites, right? He didn't care. Them used to be editing him. BBC and shit had to be editing him right through. He's saying what he might. He's saying what he might. He didn't care. Them fucking niggas, whatever. He had to say it. If he want to say it, he will say it. If he want to do it, he will do it. He don't care. Jacob Rothschild and them gonna come back into a rule awake, innit? They're gonna wake up. They're gonna come as babies. The spirit will come back on them and they're gonna be like, hey boy, I'm back in our rulership. I live in castles, now I live in as what? A fucking pig. A vagabond, a wanderer. Because guess what? We not get, hey, watch me. A roof over your head. Well, they better pray it had trees. Well, they better pray it because it's a fence with barbed wire and electricity.
He going back to your old nature.
Rain, sleet, snow, everything dropping on your mother. Everything.
So he was in Job praying among the bushes and like an animal.
Or like the Whitakers. Whitakers, the Whitaker family. Right? Don't feel. What's your heaven? Leave it up. Apparatus eye. No fucking roof over your head.
Such of the wild man and medieval. So here he was on the force.
You're going back there.
They're going back to that nature.
Click, click, clock, clock. You think them African bad? Because we still have African child.
Yeah.
You think them bad? You can see what you want. And then you don't know you smell stink normal. You smell fresh like steak. Normal. I don't want to be nowhere near you.
That is a fuck.
That one here.
Well, it's just corrals. You just have corrals for you. You saw? Corrals. What?
Book of Job chapter 20 and verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Bring it over again, and read it with full now.
Job 20 and verse 5. That it 4. Job 20 verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Right, and they are the hypocritical nation. You get Job 15:34 when you finish. Why?
Verse 6. Though his excellency mount up to the heavens.
Yeah, so do it. You know, heavens is our rulership. Your excellency mount up to the rulership. You have the royal family of England. You have the royal family of Spain. Right? You see that some royal families around. There's some dukes and duchesses. And when you go back to them dukes and duchesses, that's how Esau you do themselves. When you go back in the look at Genesis,
36.
right?
Yeah.
They are the dukes and the duchesses. Right? That's how Esau do themselves. Jacob didn't do themselves like that. Right? That was the titles that Esau gave unto themselves. So you identify now. So when they come back in, yeah, Duke of this and Duke and Duchess of that, right? And Cambridge and that shit. Your motherfuckers coming back as dogs and cats. What?
Continuing, on his head reach unto the clouds.
And his what?
And his head reach unto the clouds.
And his head reach onto the clouds. Right? You're swell-headed right now. You have Yuval Harari, that who? Right? You see that who? Say what? No longer believe in that fairy tale God in the sky. Phantom God in the clouds. Right? But they have a cloud. They have an AI cloud. They have a technological cloud. We're storing information where they would transcend into. Right? That is a vain, you should say, vain imagination. Was you with vain, right? Go back to naught. That's going to come to naught. Right?
The fool saying his heart there is no God.
There's no God.
Psalms 14.
He said there's no God and then he make himself a God. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? Right? You finished?
Verse 7.
Because we're going to say when they go and come back now. This Sirach chapter 41 and verse 8 and 9, it says, woe be unto you ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High Power. For if you increase, it shall be to your destruction. And if you be born, you shall be born to a curse. And if you die, a curse shall be your portion.
Ooh. Bring it back again. It's been nice to do it twice.
This Sirach chapter 41. I read from from 7, it says, the children will complain about God the Father.
Who children? Esau and Edom. Slavery was a long time ago. That wasn't me. That was my forefathers. You benefited from it. You call it what? White privilege. You can walk into a fucking airport with your American visa or your pale face, as Uganda guys used to call them, pale face. You walk with your pale face and jump into this land. Hey, well, last week German woman that came down, she said she was going through her midlife. It wasn't even her midlife crisis. She was like 20 years old. She left Germany. She reached the airport and she reached the counter. She asked, I want to go anywhere, but here, where you have available. And I had a flight to Trinidad or Tobago. However, and she took the flight. You can fucking do that. I can do that. I can't do that. I end up in fucking Kenya and they stood at me. You understand? He saw a 20 years old woman from Germany just jump on a plane, come to Trinidad, fall in love with a Rasta. Right? Married the Rasta in Tobago. And all she said, all he want to do is smoke weed. And he didn't want to get a passport to go back to Germany, nothing. She wasted her life with him, right? But she fall in love with Trinidad. She learned English in Trinidad, but in Tobago. She learned English in Tobago. So even her English, her accent, everything. Look, she gonna cross there, because she have an active TikTok. She gonna cross there and she asks her fans from Trinidad, whatever. They send her a package, they send her a care package. She get tamarind ball, she want tamarind ball. She get red mango. She get Bertie's pepper, Bertie's pepper sauce. She eating everything with pepper. She eating soup with pepper.
Woman, be quiet.
Yeah. What's it? Fuck them. Yeah, fuck them.
You wanna see eating cheese with the pepper sauce?
Yes, yeah, that's her. See how nice she is? She's a pretty woman. Yeah, she's a pretty woman. But guess what? She could be J. She could be J. She most likely is J. Her flavor is J. Now watch her in comparison to travel with Zoe.
Zoe black.
No, is a ATM for venereal diseases. That was Zoe. She's a ATM for venereal diseases.
Yes, Sirach chapter 41 verse 7. It says the children will complain about God the Father, because there shall be reports for his sake. It says, woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High power. For if you increase, it shall be to your destruction.
Yes, it shall be to your destruction.
And if you be born, you shall be born to a curse. And if you die, a curse shall be your portion. You remember the camera? Remember the white man who was in the coma, and he said like he had a vision of heaven.
No, he went to heaven, and he said, God deceived everybody. He black, he just black. Everything black is only niggas. And then when the child said, hey, it's niggas in heaven. He come back, he said, niggas in heaven. It will be niggas on earth too. Heaven gonna be on earth soon, huh?
He said the section out.
Yeah.
He said you wasn't close to them niggas.
Yeah.
No white people was close to them. So-called white people. Yeah. In the spiritual realm. He was nowhere close.
Anybody ever catch the one where the white child sue father and mother for being white? He wanted to be black. Anyone ever see that?
I think I see that.
He want to be Jake. He said, nah, like he get the fish.
What is scripture say with Gideon, when the two kings is forget it, the kings and them name. The two kings he was chasing after them. And he went to a city and asked them for little bread and things to sustain them, and they said nah. And he said, I wanna pass back and what do you do? But why he pursued the two kings, he said he asked
Zalman.
Yeah.
And so I read that audio Bible this morning or yesterday. Zalman and Zowa or something like that.
Yes, I did say Zalman.
Yeah.
Right? He cut up the tools and things. So he asked them what the virgin and them we slew. What they look like.
Wow.
And he said each one of them resemble the children of a king.
Of a king, yeah.
That is why he wanna be he wanna sue them, because it's kings, this is how we look at like kings, royalty.
from the harlots to the harlots. You see the difference in harlots just now?
Yeah.
Cause the Asha harlot, when she passed away, the 2 months she watching, right? But she was quiet. I don't know what type of harlot it was. It looked like a kind of Elamite just now.
Yeah.
She must have more nigga and she.
She has something, guys. Tell them what we had to teach. What we had to teach. You want to hush your fucking mouth. We know what we had to teach. We teach you what we had to teach. That what she said.
What we had to tell you as a heathen, hush your mother can't go in and go in slave.
You're going to be some kind of concubine to some Jake just now.
All these women here, they're going to go back to the purpose. Is that they're going to go. I feel this man going to come to us. I feel this man that we deal with already.
Like the old man comes home.
Right. Because he passed through it now. Yeah.
And I didn't look for it.
What? Yeah.
There's Luke chapter 16 and 26.
What's a reminder? Is a reminder you're looking for? Yeah, man.
Come and check me now.
Hey, you must be asked.
You want to come in the paper?
Yeah.
With what's that thing on the paper?
He thought
Come back. He stopped your story.
yeah, he thought he had a fireball. He thought he walked with the ass.
Yeah, you Gentile or Hebrew.
Yeah,
He was a Gentile.
He was in your pockets to come to deal with the Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Luke chapter 16 and verse 26, it says, and beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that there which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us from that would come from thence. And that is what I was saying in the division, the Guadalajara differentiation, that gulf, that is that status gap.
Yeah. The elect not gonna be walking. But from a distance, you're watching them like what as he feels, they're flying over the child, yeah, watch them. As the Rothschild family in our quarters, the worst quarter must be like Haiti. When the Rothschilds and the Mets must be fucking black. They're putting them to mine coal or some kind of thing. Yeah, black. You know, I pass over Santo Domingo, Haiti and Dominican Republic. When they pass over Dominican Republic, or Dominica, it's green and lush, and they have a line that you can see from the sky, darkness, black, barbecue. You know where barbecue dwell? Oh, barbecue is the ruler, the general, of course, in Haiti right now.
Yeah,
Rebel leader.
Yeah.
I see here, he's striking up, he's striking some posts right now on social media.
But you ever see the interview with him?
Well, we have many interviews. He's striking up one now.
Especially where he say the ask him who he get any funding from, and he say he can't say, but he say just know it's more than what they think.
Yeah.
Is that America?
Yeah.
Jakes who in the 80s, 90s, Jakes who come and with a whole container of guns just pack up there.
The story of Free River to us.
Yeah.
Huh? Hello, what's this? Nah, what's this?
That teacher a lot about what's going on in the 80s when he cracked epidemic and
Hey, yeah, Christmas will come down here the other day. He interviews why they lock you up and charge you for treason. Because he revealed he went through and he was able as white privilege to go through the hoods. Right? He went through the hoods and he get the interviews and they said everybody in it. Military, national security, politicians, doctors, lawyers, everybody in it. Abu Bakr said that before he died.
everybody's involved. Everybody's involved.
The biggest gang. These people will make you feel that you fucking wrong, you wicked, you all kind of thing. Yeah, the police. They will stand up and they will talk to you, they will lecture you before they give you a ticket. Right? Like you are a dummy. But they will persecute you on the instructions of the wicked. Right? And then go home to their families as though they're righteous. These fuckers are wicked.
Yes. I want to be.
Right.
There's to back up that. There's Numbers 24 and 17 says, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and his scepter shall rise out of Israel, and smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Shem.
I think somebody saying that, yeah, I was coming in a starship. Somebody, I think it was like a Zach was in a video, and he said that. I think so, it does not have to be a starship, because that starship, because the star of Jacob is Yahushai. So he comes in the ship.
And the point was, he was see him, but not nigh.
Yeah, from a distance.
And distance, that great God.
That was who speaking?
That was the heathen, the Moab.
Balaam.
The Midianite priest.
Right? You see from a distance. When I read high up, you see what you see Jacob in the tents, and you see talk about how glorious it was.
Verse 5, it says, how goodly are thy tents, O Jacob.
How goodly are thy tents? 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Judah, Benjamin, Levi amongst everybody, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Simeon, Issachar. We call Manasseh Gad. Yeah, we call Naphtali Gad. Yeah. Call Reuben. Right? Tribes. Right? How good we are thy tents? Zebulun is what happened. 144. Right?
It says, how goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Yasha'Allah. As the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the tree of line aloes which the Lord had planted, and as cedar trees beside the waters. Yeah, so it's going to be a separation in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Yashala going to be on top, just like I should just say, this is going to be a wisdom in the sight of the nations. Right? You're going to be head, they're going to be the tail. Because right now we tail and then we head, curses are upon us, but these curses going to put on the heathens, according to Revelation 22. Right? So we say there will be no more curse. So the curse wouldn't be on the Israelites anymore. But according to Deuteronomy 30, the curse is going to go on all these heathens. And after 1,000 years, Esau going to be done away with. The other nations going to go back to their land and pay tributaries.
Yeah, I know I was about to say that. It's not because of Makaya Kwanga. We were talking about the soul.
I see it.
We were talking about the Edomites and how they just rule. So they just put things in place. So it's like if I know I better than you, I don't have to, like he described it in our race, and he said, if I know I better than you, I have to break your foot before I have to win the race. And then boast. Because that's what Esau basically doing in his society with Jake. He literally breaking my foot in the race before the race start, take a piece of stick, break my foot, run in front, and then watch me now and say, ha, I better than you, ha, my science, I better than you, I everything. But you have that disadvantage, you break my foot. You understand? But they know they're not better than you. That is why you had to break my foot. Because if you know you're superior, you wouldn't do it. Or trip, yeah. But if you know you better, you don't have to do that. You don't have to go through all of that to freaking beat somebody in a race. You don't have to do that. You'll just run the race. You'll just run the race. If you know you're better, you'll just run. Because I know I better. But they know they're not good enough. They know they don't have it. So they have to put things in place. Like breaking foot. Like racialism. What I equate to today. Stereotyping me. Racial profiling me. Putting things in place to keep me down and under. So that they can
psychological warfare.
Psychological warfare. All them things so they can advance. And they allow Kaya Kwam did bring out, like Usain Bolt when he run against Tyson Gay and Jason Gatlin and them, he run against the best. Them was some fast men. So he could literally see. He went. He beat the best. He saw them know that cannot beat we. They know that in the core. He cannot beat them. Elam, they know the cabin. Had nothing but beat we. Whether it's academically, physically, in anything. They know they don't have we in that. They know we superior to them. We are superior.
So the technology and the sciences was invented by JQ.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Chinese come out and say that. Sometimes Chinese say, you white Europeans, you European Americans, right? You will have the world believe that well, they create everything, or they invent everything, but you stole everything on the intellectual property rights.
And buying all patterns for men inventors for next to nothing, and them know
Intellectual property,
Millions.
right?
Yeah.
The buying out the rights to what you create. That's why Prince was fighting them. Prince turned his name to the artist formerly known as Prince and make himself a symbol because the name Prince became theirs. So what Prince was doing, Prince as the our apostles would have broke down that he was Amadeus in the reincarnation, Mozart, right? And what he was doing is that he would not collaborate with anybody unless you own your masters.
Copyright and trade.
Right? Because they was owning your masters. They own your masters. Right? So like Michael Jackson owned the rights to the Beatles, and then the conspiracy is that that's why they killed him. Because he had the rights to the Beatles collection. He bought the rights to the Beatles collection. Bill Cosby, he tried to buy CBS. They killed his son. And then, well, you see where he is now. Well, R. Kelly, he just was sick. According to them. Well, he's sick because he like piss on him. But he like to piss on them, sorry. He like to piss on them. That's the way. That's the way. I don't see the joy in that.
Anything we done, so I'm girl them going to buy and take the person and stick and come.
I wonder if Janet Jackson get that kind of she didn't marry the Saudi prince. She complained about abuse.
Right, take worship that's good. This Genesis 25:23 says, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Let's imagine how strong we were back then. Because he saw doing the most, doing the most. He fuck up food, chemtrail. We doing the most, and we still strong on them in we lowest point, right?
Yeah. Watching all them like space and point athletics, the 100-meter sprint. When you ever see a Edomite win that, and since the Jakes and them started participating, because back in the Olympics when the Jakes used to be bad for entering the Olympics, it's only after a while she just started allowing Jakes to go into the Olympics.
Yeah, and it was a fight to get there.
Yeah, but since Jakes started coming in the Olympics, when you ever see Edomite win a 100-meter,
I think Edomite win in 2020. Italian.
well, most likely
Italian.
most likely
I mean, like, Edomite looking.
2020 Olympics.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
and then it's a more
I
about
was doing COVID.
Chinese was running real fast too, and I said, nah, this can't be no more about this. Had to be a
So,
them have oh shit, a specklebone. I said, this had to be a specklebone.
what good Elamite you know in football? you know any Elamite? Even in the Premier League, you ever see them go in any Elam and look for any footballer? Don't go there.
Even the national side, them never even submit it to the
Them can't make it. No, man, you never go in Elam to look for no footballer. Not Man U, Real, all the big clubs. Nobody does buy a Elam.
Even France national football team.
France
They say
national
they get all of them from Africa.
Yeah.
Because they're not finding no good natural Elamite to play football for that team.
Zinedine Zidane is from Algeria.
Mm-hmm.
Karim Benzema, all of them from Algeria. Them not from France.
We're talking about how it's creating unfair advantages for himself as well. He went and paid steroids and all. And when Jake catch on the steroids, Jake surpassed him using the steroids and all. Any advantages.
So them on steroids and Jake on steroids. Yeah. Jake still better than them.
Yo, look at. Hey, Swatch, that's supposed to be a nigga too. Watch here, watch this next one. Who bossy fucking bone in the back, yes?
Yeah, body left that.
What's up?
He wheelchair bound, no?
Yeah. He can walk, he can kind of walk. I know Pasha does always talk about him.
Mr. Universe.
He was right there.
Big dude, he was very big.
Coleman.
He was too
Like,
big.
yeah,
Coleman.
Coleman.
Ronnie Coleman. That dude, that was steroids he was on too. Yeah, Anna was on steroids too.
Yeah.
That nigga was big, boy. Woo. You see how big he was? You never see him? No, you gotta see that man in prime, and he was a police officer too, eh? You see, the man was big, boy. The man was big. They see Hummers. Yeah, Hummers in Trinidad now. Yeah. The man was big in a Hummer, Dan. The man was big in a fucking Hummer.
You know.
A Hummer, right? Big in a Hummer. Right? They had the space in between the two seats and shit. They have fridge and thing in between there. The man was big in a Hummer. The man was big, boy. The man leg, everything. The man shoulders, the man chest, the man back. Mr. Olympia, he went.
Ever watch Baki? Ever watch
Yeah. Yeah, the black man.
Yeah. I hear.
All of them races, because watch this. If it is a Uso, right? And
whatever watch Elam bodybuilding, there's Rob Logan some of that kind of thing. There's look kind of copper looking, and Elam is frail.
I'm not going to make that point. I never see a Elam, a natural Elam, exercise and look strong at all. Like
nah, Elam is like looking Faris Awari. You ever see Faris Awari? They was making fun of him like a big fucking hugging up the next one wine, the next one for crap. For the PLM sports. Right? Elam is just look weird. Out of proportion.
Elam down here, the gym, let's go for top heavy.
For top heavy and there's Johnny Babu.
Yeah.
Like a crap. I was.
Where's that double jump, the double leg jump kick? You let double leg jump kick, he to your chest.
Yeah.
You fall over.
Yeah.
You have to hit him.
Jump kick.
That jump kick him to your chest.
Them teach us to, like, for all of us, all races. Super races, Negroes, East Indian, Chinese, white, super white people. Give everybody an equal playing field and say, start here. We going and beat everybody. Yeah. Not in a literal running race, I mean, in life. We had the same opportunity. We had the same amount of money to start, same support, same backing, every single thing. We go and win. Them know that.
The majority of them Hamites, so-called Hamites, that created and innovated, most likely them is Jake.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of necessity. They have a movie that show like the man that bought water to some tribe or something so.
Yeah, I see it and you take it for a bike
and make it into
and
a
generator
and power the
breeze.
whole, power the whole, Jake like that.
Jake. And that's the art what you got us saying that raiders do not when you exercise on people now. But the man went in a university and walk on, he say all of the lineup here we go and run a race. But see, this race is not the race what I custom. Just so we do so and he tell him he said, who win the race getting $100? And that's how the race start. All who living with two parents in the house take 2 steps.
Oh, yeah, I think I see that.
Yeah, and I see Jake was just there. Jake's not help there, like that's not moving because these things
unfair advantage in life. And all these nations lead and everybody else.
Yeah, and when they get them advantages, they're in the lead now and they're in front and bossing like the win fear.
Yeah, the Elam, I just say, niggas lazy. No, you're not lazy. Niggas, sorry, Jake is very industrious, but we do have the same opportunities. Look, for example, Jake that go to America. When they reach America, you don't have accessibility to the knowledge of things that are available. Guess what? They provide all these things to the Eden. In Trinidad here, what happened? You have I forget the ministers that are in charge of that. But like you will have the it's like you have plenty of noise in the trunk.
When the music
Yeah,
in
the trunk.
yeah,
Yeah, hear it, but like it's in the trunk.
you know with the throne.
Close it in, close it.
The independent government senators, if I'm not mistaken, they're responsible for, like, you see, well, that information was brought to me that they would like to hear them when they come in. So, like, the Chinese Association and all them people will see about the people when they come in that they have, maybe we can look it up, but this information that was brought to me by our former brother back then. I never evaluated it. Right? That the independent government senators was over them. The Chinese will come, they will have licenses prepared, they will have a whole industry prepared for them. Just a foley. They can't speak a little English, but they have a whole grocery, a whole supply chain, right? Everything is just to manage and operate. Just a work. You understand? You have these other nations will come in, right? But Jake don't get afforded that same thing in America. The Arabs, and them, same thing. Elam, same thing. Moab, Ammon, Ham, all them nations, right? They have systems put in place for them to prosper. But Jake, we don't have the same systems. We don't have it. They don't have it. You don't have it locally, and they don't have it foreign.
Chinese, them more when they come in and they had a setup. And say you come in, we set you up. You get workers, you get everything. And when every evening when work done, when you close the store, all that we close, we store the same night, we come and we meet you and we feast together. Everybody feast and eat together and do everything together. They had a union with themselves.
Yeah, I'll look it up here. In Trinidad, what does the independent government sector do?
Senator.
Senator.
This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction."
Right, because this earth is not clean. So it's like I was just meditating on the situation. My brothers was doing different lessons and things upon, be grateful for whatever situation you're in. First, be grateful, thankful, because actually the Most High have a plan for his elect. So it might be that you're suffering, you're lacking in this or that. I say, like brothers are lacking wives and whatnot. It's like, you already have quality women out here. They don't have. Solomon already experiment. He said, and they said, have the shit that we're going through. Every year just thankful for the lot, because guess what? They get a wife, and your time that you can devote to the brotherhood and to the truth, to the knowledge, to the study, everything. That time thing. Yeah, you have as I say, you can beat anytime you want. But she not gonna require, because she gonna be up in her feelings, because guess what? We not put into that position of power. Because they respect power. I have women, you're on TikTok, a woman say, I don't want no normal man, I don't want no fucking fancy man, I want no head man, I want no gentleman, I want a God man. I see that on TikTok, she said, I want a gun man. A gunman will beat it and take the thing, and he will do whatever she want a gunman. You know why? Because the gunman is power. Because she see power in you. If these women know that they're fucking military men and them will beat the hell out of them, they like that because I power. These women like abuse, but they don't like abuse from what? A man that don't have power. They don't like to be ruled over by a man that they don't have power. But what the scripture say, in the day of thy power, all flesh will be willing. So the time will come, retribution will come. Right? And all these that we desire that thing look good, but guess what? They inside them is full of what, dead men bones. Right? By that time, when the Lord comes, you know, we're going to be able to differentiate. At least now, brothers should differentiate. Put them squallies aside and look for young, fresh, impregnable. Meaning that their minds, because the woman nature is a woman nature. A woman nature is a woman nature. So, they desire that power by nature. Right? But under the new order, they're going to fall into place. Right? That's what the scriptures that talk about when they go in, kill all the women that had children, kill all the women that old, thing. But the virgins that had no husbands, take them. The time will come. Yeah, programmable. And even if they fucking believe in I would say Satan, some the false image and shit, that will soon come to naught. Yeah. Because he ain't coming. He ain't coming. Or contrary to a Christian opinion, they have no Jesus the fucking Christ. You seen Jesus the Christ now. That image. But when Yahweh Shai come, you see what he going to throw down all the idols of Egypt. Yahweh Shai coming. Right? Yahweh Shai coming. You know, like in Avengers, Thanos is coming, Yahweh Shai coming.
And if I could just add to it, one of the things too that, I mean, if that is the case, when it is the same things which you speaking, you know, which the Lord have in our more prophecy, and the same weight. Talking about coming to pass.
Yeah.
The scripture say, in Isaiah 13 and Isaiah 32, a man shall be a hiding place from the storm.
Covert from the storm.
Yeah, you want to read it?
Yeah, because so like before you read it, what the book of Malachi say, she that is my enemy, right, shall see it. So that's just about it. They don't say she shall see it. Because right now they're not seeing. So, hey, brothers that have wives that giving you hell, that disrespectful outer order, that all up into themselves and not into you, that care about themselves, how they feel, and not their opinion is not yours. In other words, it's not like the woman that was portrayed in the Coming to America. What's your favorite movie? Whatever you like. What's your favorite drink? Whatever you like. Right? These women are not built to our pleasure, that all up in the fucking emotions and think that is about them. You could have treated me better, you could have done this, you could have, you fucking know your place. Right? Go ahead.
That's what it get to why also I go say take the young one. Forget the name of the word, but it's a peer bonding.
Peer bonding?
Something kind of word it is sent to the head now. So that it's born. The born with you when they start to put serious licks on them. Yeah. So that is released. I don't know I can't remember the name. But that is that gland where it's sent out and it's what the peer bond. They go get hooked here, they attach it, they all out there, cling up there, clingy. That's why I fucking think I want to do something she can't get at.
And also again older in age. That age, you know, certain things going off in them.
Yeah.
Men build different than women. They may not fucking equal. A woman have a prime time of her life. After that time, by the time a woman reach 40, it's downhill. By the time she reach 30, late 30, yeah, it's all downhill from there. You understand?
Studies show that where on the camera I was talking about, after a woman has sex with like 3 men, that does drop like to 10%. Your ability to be born. Because it's too much of corruption in your DNA. Because sex is what? when a man ejaculates on a woman, there is a chemical reaction going on on a genetical level. Yeah.
And go to the brain.
Yeah.
So if the first one, P1 going to the brain, the second one going to the brain, third one, you trying to fucking think.
CPU.
Yeah, you trying to
CPU
malfunction.
starting to
You trying to glitch.
yeah.
So what going on is now is a whole heap of different DNA up inside of you, and that going to cause what confusion. And when that cause confusion, you start to short circuit. Just so you jump in one personality here, you jump out on this one here, you go on in this one here. Just can't work, yo.
It says, what is oxytocin? Oxytocin is a natural hormone that manages key aspects of the female and male reproductive system, including labor and delivery, and lactation, as well as aspects of human behavior. I ain't giving you
Part of the behavior, I say go manipulate.
I appreciate you.
And woman is emotional creature. So when that oxytocin can't connect, then it's just sex to them. They don't think with logic or
That's how they can be a hoe. That's how they can be hoes.
Exactly. Because it's just sex to them. It's not like they want to think logical. When that feeling gone for you,
What purpose is it?
because there's feelings and there's a person. You just fucking there.
At that point, they probably feel like they accomplish something because they always feel like, oh, a man to go and fuck a girl and then go and fuck a next girl and just feel like nothing. So they feel like they want to be like a man to do the same way. I going to feel that doing with that state. I know what I feel that doing. They're fucking corrupt.
Yeah.
Them motherboard, they drop in water.
And the oxytocin here. Oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone or cuddle hormone, oxytocin plays a significant role in social bonding, trust, attachment, particularly in females.
Tell you one for the male later. Just scroll up. Scroll up.
Vasopressin. The hormone appears to be more critical in males for pair bonding or territorial behavior. Vasopressin.
So too much different roads that suppress oxytocin in Moya. Too much 15 different men, all your oxytocin gone. So you really don't, but that they don't like. The scripture says she that is my enemy. These women, they don't fucking like me. They will take falling year, 2 years, 3 years, and then these people, they don't like you, man. They just are wrong here.
Or the oxytocin, the breakdown, what are they? Remember they say it's more predominant in the male, right? So it's when you ejaculate in her.
No, it couldn't.
It's predominant in the female. Oh, okay.
And I appreciate it. This second is just chapter 5, because I was talking about also what it is also talking about to maybe brothers mentioning is age. You know, when the more able to bring forth healthy children is in a young age, not in an old age. Because you can get something where you call a late bloomer. You understand? A child will come out like fucking Donnell. Yeah, this second is just chapter 5.
You know, I not seen that. I don't know why I see it. Inside joke.
Inside joke. This second is just chapter 5 and verse 52. It says, I read from 51, it says, he answered me and said, ask a woman that bare children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee. Stature. And to her, and she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that be born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. But that was basically it.
Yeah.
So they have one fashion when they need the time of youth, because their body function and they bring forth healthy and everything, you know. But when you reach a certain age, the womb feel it.
And that is a woman have an expiry date. You see, we men, the more you exercise, the less you develop aging. A woman have an expiry date, she could make a child, two child, and that is she have an expiry date. You reach 25, you start to devalue. 30, you start to devalue. 35, it's more devalue. But a man now, he get more age, more wisdom. The only thing in this society it might not be as stiff, but once you exercise and you can eat right herbs and quinine now work, you good. You understand? Or woman, we don't on the same level.
But in this world, a woman, by women value men thirsty out here, boy.
Yeah.
Men want the junkie. Look at that, the former, you know.
Yeah.
He addicted to, you know.
Yeah. Serious.
And weird advice he had on me. This is granny and in this world. In this world. Weird thing.
What? You see, don't they need to? A young thing is real vibes, and a young thing, white cool day and thing, she done non stop. You know, them white somebody till up here, so. 16-year-old know it. But you ain't ready for that.
You know what song I despise, boy? A man called Grams Morgan sing a song. What could I ever do to deserve the love of a woman? When I hear a song, them rastas are never in Jamaica, somehow they need to perish. Oh, you was as a man saying, what could I ever do to deserve the love of a woman? But you was born more superior.
Yeah.
Not saying that in any type of way, no, but it's the truth. A man and a woman, a male child and a female child born, the male child is automatically on a higher status than the female. You was born a man, but what fucking shit you talking about? Where could you deserve the love of a woman? Like you?
Sims out fucking here.
What was that?
Fucking Sims out.
What they say? The first step to recovery is admittance. I was that sim.
Now he's king.
Yeah, because I assume we had to learn.
Me too. Sometimes I will still end up some
Simpish
shit.
I mean, just don't get tired. Just don't try to circumvent the way of the Lord.
No.
Yeah, because that's it. You try to be Jacob too, because sometimes you're trying to supplant them to get what you want. Yeah, son. But it's we have grown and the understanding of master and servant, because a woman is a servant. Right? And innately, I want to make you feel like you have to love and be around. Nah, fuck that shit.
Yeah. I suppose it. They don't have wives. I'm not.
And that's how it's going to be, because as when they go into this prophecy in Isaiah, concerning 100 bring forth 1,000, is Isaiah talking about? Right. Do you think how long you want to take to bring forth 1,000 with 1,000 wives? Right? It's not that they want to say and love every wife a year and all that kind of shit. Nah, fuck that. You're fucking. We're gonna be fucking. Really fucking. Christian pastor. I like Christian pastor. You know, I see the Christian pastor. The Christian pastor say what? When the kingdom of heaven, I'll be doing a lot of fucking. Man, say. What you see that? You see it? Wait, boy. I totally see that. I see that Instagram the other day. But a couple of times I see come up on Instagram. Right? Christian pastor say, "Boy, I'll be doing a lot of." They say what? You know, the one that says, "Come here, come see this, come see this." Yeah.
I appreciate what you did, but because these women out here, the only thing that keeping you from that is the Lord. Because a lot of these men get caught up. You know, even the king Apame
Apame was the king.
Apame was the concubine.
You know, the woman was clonging him too.
Apami.
You understand?
The king concubine.
The king concubine was, you understand, was
taking the crown,
slapping him up.
Chapping him
And that was plenty of men because brother don't make reference to these women. These women have depleted, and men have these women feeling like they're all up and like this big champion thing. You understand?
Look, recently, one tell me that I emotionally unavailable and I only making time to do the things you I say I not even making enough time for you right now. I say, let me tell you something, right? You have to understand that. And if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. They say I cool. I been there and done that with all your boys.
She's telling you emotionally unavailable.
She had telling me I emotional. I say, well, I say I does not make sure you're good. I say I does not, try my best to do certain things. I say, so what more I want to hear, man. You know what you talking about? What the fuck I supposed to know what you're talking about? What that what I want? You want that kind of subjection. Don't have that with men who understand that, like.
I think we should do that. Like, you know,
if you
ain't getting that.
It's perspective. If you're not getting that, you're not in the truth.
Yeah, you had to be getting that. You see how a girl come and I'm telling you, you always on your brothers.
Right.
I ain't getting no time. You see, if you're not getting fucking that,
They start to say, Mama, like, he's a we taking that. For the brethren, we taking that. Go down, Bishop.
Book of 1 Ezra chapter 3 and verse 12. The third wrote, women are strongest, but above all things, truth beareth away the victory.
This is what made the victory.
Yeah, because we fighting, we have the vision, and we see what we're fighting for, and we have the understanding. Because our peace is not your fucking peace.
Yes.
Your peace is to be around a man that fucking putting you on a pedestal. Our peace is a being in the truth, acting in the truth, growing, learning from the truth, and being among like-minded men. Right? You will never understand that. You will never understand that. So much so that there's a jealousy that's before men. And we're not jealous your relationship with the brethren. There's jealous in relationship with the brethren. Because we have understanding. You can understand a woman. You can really understand a woman. You give a woman every fucking thing and she's still unhappy. She wants your fucking soul. You see, they say an adulterer will seek for thy soul.
And they show it because watch, the most I give them everything. Yeah, breast, bamsy. They find nah, they said good enough. I had to get extension, I had to go and do implants, I had to get a bigger butt. Come on, the Lord gave you everything already.
Yeah.
And not only we nation, everything them nation like for us. Nevertheless. You understand? You can give a woman every fucking thing. She will leave a man, say she and a man done because he's so much in this way. Come with you and like you for your way, then despise you and go back by he for he way.
That is why you cannot study. Yeah. Just do your basics.
Many men go out of their wits for women, and wit go back to intelligence.
A big old man today could be about 50 going to 60 years. I mean, he talk and say, uncle, this point I say I way younger than you and I understand that already and say I just do my best. And if anytime you want more than that, fuck away. I do what I could at the point in time. Food, clothes, and shelter, I have a responsibility for my children. I do that. If I have a woman, I try my best to do what I have to do according to the scriptures. And that is it. More after that, you know, I don't even study nothing after that time.
Now all are we? That's all are we? They will make their fucking bed and lie down in it. We try to make our bed, make it up, dress it, you understand, change the sheet, kneel long and pray, facing the east to the Lord.
That's right.
So with that, we give all praises, honor and glory.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash.
Come on, as our apostles and elders are great in this one side, to elect brethren in this work, the truth and the sincerity, because before concept and earth risk in their lives to do so. Right, we are great Muslim Trinidad signing out. Shalom to elect, Shalom.